So welcome back to Vanities by the Bonfire. I've had a few people say about my first episode, make some comments. They're wonderful comments, and I want more comments to come in about the quality of the show and what needs to be done to help improve this. So this is going to be what I call episode 1.5. You'll noticing I'm wearing the same outfit as I was, and so what we're going to do is we're going to actually take you through the paraphernalia again. And so while I'm doing that, I'm just going to show you. So let's see here. So let's look at the punch cutter again, okay? So you can see the punch cutter, and so it pops up, and you're going to insert it into the end of your cigar. It gets a little hole in there, and when you're ready to extract it, there's a little button you can see on the side here. Push that and it pops the ring back in, and that expels the hole from the cigar. The next one I want to show you is the notch cutter. So you see the notch cutter, and I'll show you here on a cigar. So I'm going to go back to the Reposado. I'll talk to you about that in a moment. So the Reposado is a Reposado 96. This is the Maduro. You can tell the difference in color of the bands. So the red band is the Maduro, there's a green band, and then there's a blue band. It goes from the Maduro to a regular natural leaf, and then it goes to what they call a Connecticut, which is a shade-grown leaf, which is a significantly lighter leaf. So when we look at the cigar, and we'll go with the punch again. So I have the hole. I'm going to stick it into the end. I'm going to stick it into the end. Give it a couple twists there until it's all the way in. And you can see it's actually in there perfectly. And then I push the button, and it spits out my little bit, which fell on the floor. Not a big deal. You can see the hole, and that's where you would drag from. Again, I don't like it because it just gives you a little bit less of a pull from your cigar, which in the end I think affects the flavor. There's a lot more stuff that comes to the end and then sits there, and you'll start to get more of a tarry taste. And then we'll look at the notch cutter like I showed you before. And one of my biggest complaints about the notch cutter was how messy it is. So to use it, open it up. I'm going to use the same cigar because a notch hole and a punch hole are going to be pretty similar in size. So I stick it in, rest the end against it, if you can see that there, and then just like that. And then you can see there's the notch. It's kind of hard to see probably, but you can see that, and all the remnants that from the notch have fallen on the floor. The few that are remaining will just make a mess on your clothes. So that's the notch cutter and the punch cutter. We have the double blade guillotine style and the single blade guillotine style. And again, my problem with the single blade is you stick it in, and when it's trying to cut down, it's actually going to put enough pressure on the edge of the cigar that it starts to deform it. And it takes an awful lot of finger strength to cut the end off. So, Reposado 96. If you look at the end here, I don't know if you can see, but it doesn't look like a nice clean cut. It looks like it's kind of torn. It's not level. It just doesn't look like a very good smoke. And I'm pretty sure that when I do smoke this, I'm going to end up with a mouthful of tobacco. So not very pleasant. All right. That's not to say the Reposado 96 Maduro isn't a good smoke, just because of the way the end was cut with the single blade guillotine. That's what's going to cause the problem. So I don't know if you need to get a zoom in on the butane lighter. So this is the standard convenience store butane lighter. You can pick up anywhere for 99 cents or whatever. There's name brand, non-name brands. They're all the same. And then the refillable jet lighter. This is the one that I prefer. And again, you can see a nice big flame. This is hot enough that when it actually lights your cigar, you don't have to go over it 72 times to actually get your end lit. Now, while we're at it, some of you may noticed originally there was a certain somebody who was playing with my tree, and I'd like you to meet my co-host, Timothy. Timothy is my cigar cat. He likes to sit with me and have a cigar. Well, he doesn't have the cigar. I have the cigar, and he just sits and waits for me to finish and give him some attention. So that's essentially what I wanted to tell you about. The Reposado 96. It is a very inexpensive cigar. It comes in the 3 sizes and the 3 different wrappers. And it is a Nicaraguan leaf. It comes from a Cuban seed is what they call it. So they had an original Cuban seed. They put it into Nicaragua or Ecuador and whatnot, and they grow their leaf. So this is, I believe, if I remember correctly, a Nicaraguan, and good smoke. It's cheap. They say apparently the Maduro is an aged leaf in here, but for the price of this, I don't really foresee it being an aged leaf, just because they wouldn't be able to invest that much time and energy and money into something that they're going to be able to sell me for, say, $6. Any prices that I tell you are in Canadian dollars, and there is a huge sin tax on our tobacco. You're looking upwards of 70%. So somewhere outside of Canada, you could probably pick this up for a couple bucks. And up here, we get to pay exorbitant amounts for a cheap cigar. All right, I hope you've enjoyed this. This is Vanities by the Bonfire, episode 1.5. And my name is Dan. Check you later.